All right. All right. All right, sweet. All right, well, we'll see how things go today as far as bye, sweetie. Have fun. Love you. All right, so we'll get after it today here. It's rainy. I don't know what's going on with the volume. I think this building generally being just a little echoey is not ideal for this, so I gotta maybe try to work something out there. But for now, I got the little attachment that came with the mic set up right here to the old beard, since, you know, hopefully that'll pick more of my voice up and less of the rain and wind and everything else going on. Press today, probably some bicep work, maybe a little bit more shoulder accessory, we'll see. And I can already see this is gonna be, I don't know if this will work. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. My guess is it's still a little echoey. Whatever. Fucking hell, man. So we'll get warmed up. I don't know what we're gonna do. It's been a while since I pressed here relatively heavy, so we'll see. Holy shit. What is the channel about? To be completely honest with you, man, it's not going to be a whole lot of fun necessarily. It's just a lifting log by and large. So I'm a starting strength coach. So I focus on the fundamentals. I do some online coaching. But this is really kind of a training log. If people are active in the chat, which historically has not really been the case, then I'm more than happy to answer questions if I know the answer. I'm not going to bullshit you or anything. But generally speaking, this is kind of me riffing, you know, talking back with the chat if there is one, and just a general training log, so to speak. So today we're doing, and I'm working out some of the volume. This is a different building than I was in before, so it's a little echoey. So I'm working out some of the kinks with that. But, you know, if you're interested in subscribing, watching a normal guy try and lift, you know, then feel free. But I'll be honest, it's probably not going to be terribly exciting. I guess the big thing, what some people might know on the channel is the fact that I lost my leg, bottom half of my leg, back in 2019. So I think that's some of this. People enjoy, kind of, or at least interested. Yeah, this is just some warm-up stuff. Can't do magic, sorry bro. No, not in the Army. Got hit by a car, stopped at I was stopping at an accident back in 2019 and some young kid hit me. So, almost died, but I didn't die, so that's good. But today, probably work up to 135 for a handful or whatever. Looking for 3 sets of 5. 3 sets of 5 is typically what I do. But max for what? Max bench press is 310 for a single, and then max press is 175. But been a little while since I've done either one of those. I messed my shoulder up last summer a little bit. So I have not been bench pressing super heavy for a while, and in fact mostly doing close grip bench to kind of relieve some pressure on my shoulder. Michael Cooper, what's up, bro? So, yeah, that's right, man. Freedom and gym, yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But, biggest benefit from overhead press? Well, so I would say the biggest benefit, if we're talking about just generally in life, would be probably resilience. So, so I don't know, I mean, a lot of you watching right now, which is awesome, by the way, that you are. I appreciate that. But what you probably won't be able to really tell from watching the video is that I'm a small guy. I'm 5'3" maybe a little lower, frankly, 5'2.5", something like that. And I walk around at about 145 pounds. So very small guy, did not hit the genetic lottery on that one, so that sucks, but whatever. But I had been doing this for a few years before I got hit by the car in 2019, so maybe not the coolest answer, but all of it. I mean, when I got hit hard with enough impact to where the car shot me into the other car that had rolled over, and it snapped my collarbone. But no shoulder issues, no shoulder damage. Really, the only damage for the most part was my left leg. So compound fractures. And then when I went through the, what happened was I went through the back window of the car that had rolled over. So I got hit. It propelled me in feet first through the back window, and it severed my femoral artery on my left leg here. Compound fractures on the left leg, and so it really screwed my left leg up bad. But aside from that, a broken left collarbone, which ended up being a clean break and didn't cause me any real issue. So, you know, what was the most beneficial thing I was doing? Probably the squatting and the deadlifting was probably the most beneficial as far as resilience. But being able to lift, you know, relatively heavy, you know, based on your size and weight, making the shoulders strong, you know. That's what I would say the biggest general overhead benefit from overhead press. But in general, you know, the overhead press is going to work more of the posterior chain as far as the shoulder. You're not getting quite as much of the front delt in that. You know, you take care of that with the bench press. So you need to round out. So, you know, another big benefit is just simply if all you're doing is the bench pressing, which is what most people like to do, frankly, it's what I like to do most. But if you're not rounding that out with the posterior musculature of the shoulder, you kind of get a bit off kilter, and you can cause some issues there with just a general imbalance. But I'll tell you, the other thing too is traps. The traps at the lockout hold it up. That's what really holds the weight. So that certainly helped my trap development, which, you know, if we're talking aesthetics, that's always fun. It's always fun to look a little better, you know. So we'll put 135 on. It's been a little while since I pressed this much, so we'll see how it goes. I think the strength is still probably there, but you know, for me, kind of having to balance on this prosthetic leg, there's definitely some a little more skill than maybe others have to deal with, but yeah, well, that's all right. I don't think anybody's watching now except for me, so that's all good. Hell yeah. Well, YouTube got me, some people, I guess. That's super interesting to stay. So we'll see how we do. Yeah, I mean, the goal is going to be 3 sets of 5, but rack. The rack cost me, I think it was under 700, I think, just under 700. But I bought this back in 2015. So I mean, inflation's gonna fuck you pretty hard there, so. But I think I got this through Titan Fitness, which, you know, I've heard mixed reviews about, but I've not had any real issue with it. And to be frank, I mean, I would guess that most places buy basically the same steel as far as where it's coming from. So I mean, the gauge of this steel is thinner on this particular model than a more expensive model. But Rogue, I mean, I would guess most of it's coming from China or some shit. So I mean, you know, I don't think there's gonna, the price of a Rogue versus the price of something from Titan Fitness, in my experience with the company, I don't think the price point's really there. I don't think that it's worth the price point of the Rogue or some other things. But you can, you know, but it's a pretty good rack. I've had it for a number of years now, and it's served me well. All right, let's fucking see here. God damn it. That's some of the problem I have. So I can't get my left knee locked out. And really hurts me in being able to balance. Ah, damn it. There's 4. I'll take 4. I'll take 4. But yeah, Michael, it's plenty sturdy, and I think it's rated. Cameron, thanks, bro. Michael, I think this particular model is rated for 650 pounds or something like that. And so I knew when I bought it, you know, that. Now I got up to squatting 340, I think it was. I can't squat now. The leg is messed up, but the real problem is the knee was totally destroyed on the impact of the car. So I can't really squat worth of shit at all, really. So I have such limited range of motion in the knee. But so I knew, but you know, I was squatting 340 or so, 345 maybe, and so I knew I was never going to squat 650. You know, even if I got the absolute most out of my frame size, the most I was ever probably going to get is, you know, maybe 450 or something like that. You know, I don't know. But so 650, you know, and if all you ever were to do was squats 405, 500, somewhere in that, you know, the 650 is a good setup. I mean, unless you're 6'3" and kind of walk around easily at like 245 or 250, you know, in which case I would say you definitely could be destined to squat in the 6s. You know, 650 might be good for you. But yeah, it's fine, and it's moved. I've moved with it a few times. You know, it's easy enough to put together. It's all good. And I bought a few attachments for it. The dips were a little off, but they work. The pulley attachments I bought have worked fine. So yeah, it's been good. It's worth it, in my opinion. Whew, fuck. Yeah, but so I don't have, with my knee being busted up, not really being able to extend it all the way, I have a hard time locking it out and staying rigid for the press, so it's pretty easy for me to lose balance. You know, which sucks, but what are you gonna do, you know? Bitch and moan. I'm just happy to be able to walk around and, you know, all that cliche stuff you hear from people that dealt with stuff like this. Just happy to be alive. Well, I'm happy to be alive, so that's, you know, so that's true. So I'm pretty exhausted now after that first set. So we got 4. Try to keep track just to make sure. So what I'll probably do is come back through at the end and make up any reps that I missed. The goal here is, right now, is 15 reps, 3 sets of 5. That's what this channel is going to be predominantly about. Strength training. That's what I coach. That's what I practice. There are different ways to go about things. There are many ways to skin a cat, right? But certainly from a strength perspective, and specifically for someone who's relatively new, you know, your best bet is to just 3x5, come back 2 days later, bump it up a little bit of weight, 3x5 squat, deadlift, so on and so forth. You know, my thought is always, if you can add size and get big and strong as shit, as strong as you possibly can, add a bunch of weight, actual muscle, you know, skeletal muscle mass, then you can spend your time, you know, I think it's more efficient to wait till then to spend your time with a more bodybuilder style, routine, programming setup. So, you know, my stuff is pretty basic. Now, given how small my frame is, you know, I'm at a point where I'm probably closer to being toward my, you know, I'm certainly closer to my hitting my potential than someone would be who is just starting out. So, you know, I get into a little bit of the accessory work to add stress, but all of that's with the goal of making me stronger. You know, the aesthetics of it all, that's always nice, but I view that as more of a byproduct. The stronger you get, the bigger your muscles have to get, and then if you know, so that really changes the aesthetic drastically. And then if you want to worry about getting tone or losing weight really, and really putting a fine-tooth comb on everything, then I say you do that after you put on a bunch of muscle, inevitably some weight, depending on how big you are already. But yeah, absolutely, dude, staying after it. That's all you can do, right? I mean, shit. That's really all you can do. All right, let's see if we can get 5 here. We'll see. If I can stay centered and not get forward, I might be able to pull it off. God damn it. I'm all over the place. You know, some of it's the shoes, I think, too, frankly. Okay, 22. There's 4 and 4. Damn it. I'm lucky to have gotten 4 there, though. If you can see, I'm losing my balance, getting all over the place. I usually wear a Vans. I don't have, with this prosthetic, I have no ankle. And so the flatter the shoe, the better I'm able to kind of get around, balance. Everyday walking, maybe not so challenging, but certainly in the gym, and certainly if I'm overhead pressing, a flat shoe really does go a long way to help me out. But damn, I wore out the ones. Just when if you're in a situation like I'm in, you at least my guess is, I can't speak for everyone, but my guess is when you find a shoe that feels good, you wear it all the time. So finally wore out the Vans yesterday, and the damn soles fell off, so off the one shoe so much. So now I'm wearing a shoe with a slightly raised heel, and I think that's kind of screwed me up a little bit. Oh man. Good weather though out here, man. I love this rain. Yeah, I'm interested, especially Michael Cooper, you're sticking around here for a little bit. Do you follow me already? Or if not, how did you, I'm kind of interested to know how the people that are watching me here got wind of this coming up. So I was doing this last year quite a bit. If you go through my channel, you'll kind of see when I was working in a gym. I would go in before my shift and lift, and I was putting up videos just like this. And but I wasn't getting any kind of traffic, which is fair enough. I mean, what I'm doing is somewhat boring. I can't imagine it's very fun to watch. I mean, shit. But but I'm kind of interested. if you're watching right now, oh, okay, right on, appreciate it, man. Well, if you're watching and you're not a subscriber, how the hell did you know this popped up? I'm interested to know what if YouTube just force feeds that down people or what. But Michael, you lift yourself, or just kind of thinking about getting into it, or? Rest another minute or so. That's the other thing too with this heavy. Part of why I'm not surprised if that nobody really would be watching this is when you're strength training, you're lifting heavy relative to your strength abilities currently. So you usually really should be resting quite a bit. Certainly first starting out, you know, you won't necessarily need to, but you know, for this is almost a body weight. Oh, hell yeah, bud. Nice. Well, yeah, man. If you're thinking about getting a rack, these are pretty good. What kind of, you do any kind of particular training or strength, more aesthetic, bodybuild style, combination of, or just kind of get after it any way you can based on the day? That time. Right now I'm resting about 4 minutes, which for a lot of guys that are used to doing you know, higher rep count stuff, and thus a lower percentage of their actual strength ability, you know, your goal is usually to stress the muscles differently, right? You're trying to put a bunch of repetition into it, really fatigue it and work it hard that way. And kind of you know, you're kind of really shooting for the last handful of reps of any set, right? So you do a set of 20 and you're really just looking at the last 3, 4, 5 to be the ones that really tax the muscle as they fatigue. So you're going to be looking at shorter rest in between, right? Because you're kind of trying to keep that muscle fatigue throughout the throughout the session, excuse me, to really take advantage of those reps right at the end of your tank, basically. But oh yeah, hell yeah, man, right on. Yeah, looking good, man. Looking good is a good thing. Staying cut's not a bad thing at all. But you don't want fatigue to be a reason for you failing the next set, right? And so, you know, interset fatigue, if that's the reason you're failing, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, right? So you'd be better off just resting a little more and making sure you've got enough in the tank to get that next setup. So we'll see how many we can get here. I got 8 total, going for 15. Ah, shit, I'll take another 4. I kind of didn't expect it, to be honest. Those went pretty good. We'll rest another handful here, and I'll see if I can get a triple to get the 15 reps. So then I'm not going to go up and weight, but the next press day, I'll try to knock these out. So some of this is also probably just general conditioning. I have not been not training these heavy sets, even though it's 5. And if you've never really done heavy sets of 5, 3, 4, 5 sets, or 5 reps, maybe 6, something like that, but in that lower range, you might be surprised at how much your cardiovascular system comes into play, because kind of it's what's the word I'm thinking of? Counterintuitive to, but when you squat or deadlift or whatever, set of 5, it's like, you know, for a guy, 93% of what their max is or something like that, which in this particular case, the max is somewhat irrelevant, because if they're training, their max is ideally slowly going up over time. So, but you're training at the high end of your strength ability, right? In order to produce the strength adaptations. So the amount of cardiovascular effect it has on the effect it has on your cardiovascular system is very surprising to people. It's like running sprints or some shit. It's brutal. Now that doesn't necessarily, it's not going to turn you into a marathon runner, but you know, when I was an alright, I could run distance run okay. I mean, I didn't really enjoy it, but you know, I ran a 7-minute mile or whatever. Not terrible, but I never was too interested. However, my point is that just by lifting and I was not running regularly. Hadn't ran in quite some time when I first started this. And after a few months, my wife was getting into some running at the time. She's like, hey, come run a couple miles with me. Okay. And I ran the fastest mile I'd ever run before, because it did increase my conditioning. Now that's limited, I mean, because what we're doing here is not conditioning focused. But you'd be surprised at how much it affects it and how much it improves it, especially for a guy, 40, 50-year-old guy that's out of shape, which, you know, no judgment, that's a lot of this country, you know, unfortunately. But you get a 40 or 50-year-old guy that's out of shape and couch potato a lot of the time, and he's going to be, his day-to-day activity threshold is going to increase quite a bit and pretty quickly, you know. So it's pretty cool. And you'll see some videos popping up, if you check out the channel. But I've been training my dad, and so he's 58, and he's paralyzed. Had a motorcycle accident about 40 years ago. Paralyzed his left shoulder, so he can't really do like a front raise with the delt. He can't really raise his arm, but his tricep works. So, you know, it's weak, very weak and atrophied. But he's got some bicep, he's got some tricep. His hands, he can kind of pinch it closed. He can't really open it. But we started. So he's not been training. Stayed away from it a lot. Put on weight. So on and so forth, and finally kind of convinced him, like, hey, he had a bit of a heart scare with some shit that was going on, and it kind of finally jarred him a little bit, to where he's like, all right, I'll take you up on it, because I've been telling him for a long time, you know, you should train, we can work around your limitations. So we got him a safety bar, so he's squatting, he's able to deadlift, because he's able to close his hand hard enough right now, and when he isn't, we'll use straps. And his chest, his pec works, and his tricep works, and so he's able to bench press. You know, setting it up so that we can use the rack, because he doesn't have great control over his shoulder. But the point I'm getting at is just in that he's been doing it about a month with me. He's squatting 85 pounds to depth. He's doing great. He's only bench pressing about 33 pounds right now, deadlifting about 150 pounds. But even in the month that we've been doing it, he's already telling me, you know, he's like, man, I'm kind of surprised at how much easier it is for me to walk around, climb upstairs. He drives for a living, so test drives different vehicles, and so he's been test driving a truck. semi, and so getting in and out of it, he's like, man, it's pretty incredible how much better it's just making his whole life. And that's just the general, the hard work relative to his strength level right now is such that it increases his cardiovascular. And so he's just like, his daily threshold for how much activity he can do has gone up, which is awesome. You know, it's great for him. So, all right, one more here. Let's see if we can get 3. And then I'm gonna have to cut this bad boy, get some quick bicep work in, and then I gotta go help my wife out with the kids. All right, all right. All right. Damn it. Come on. Oh, man. Ugly as all hell. Good God. Ugly. But you can see, I mean, I'm just all over the place. My balance is all over the place. And what you don't necessarily, what you definitely don't realize when you have both legs and therefore both feet, is you kind of you really don't totally grasp how much work your toes are doing to balance you out, even when you're on a flat surface. So you know I guess depending on how old some of you are, they might be seeing this, but the movie Cool Runnings, right? The Jamaican bobsled team. Which is a classic. Which is an absolute classic. But what's the phrase there, right? What's he tell them? Tells them to grip with your toes when you're walking on ice, right? Which is an interesting thing because for some reason that's something that literally stuck with me. Like every time I'm on anything slippery at all, that movie comes back to mind. But yeah, so you grip with your toes when things are slick and whatever else, right? But you don't have your toes, and you really find out pretty quick. You find out pretty quick how big a role that plays. So, but it's all right. Pull this set up. So I don't do a ton of bicep work. I think I'm going to start doing more, but generally, I've not done a whole lot of bicep work, and so, my arms are, for my size, are pretty good. For my frame, are pretty good size, pretty strong, but so I want to be able to use, usually I would use a barbell, but what I want to try to get is more of that supination out of
out of the, so I wonder, been thinking about using the ropes almost as a, start off as a bit of a hammer curl, almost like you're doing or almost like you have an easy curl, kind of the in-between neutral but I want to get that reach at the top. Problem is, goddamn pulleys are too long to really do what I want it to do. So I don't know if this will work, but and it's not heavy. So this is a partial. So this ends up being a partial range of motion. So yeah, I don't know. I'll tinker with that more down the road and figure out how to see if I can't shorten up the pulley cable or something maybe, because I just do not want, yeah, I don't want that much length in it. Well, that's all right. I gotta get the kid up anyway. Gotta go help my wife out. So, well, hey, look, bunch of chat. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in my story, or kind of following along with seeing what I was going through with the leg, Bruce Trout _SSC on Instagram. If you're interested in, so like I said at the top, I'm a strength coach, starting strength coach specifically. No matter where you're at in your training, if you need some help, need some advice, or interested in a monthly kind of, you lift, I program, I watch your lifts back, and give you form critiques to kind of help things get more efficient, and whatnot. Visit my website, brucetroutbarbellclub.com. Shoot me an email if you have questions or whatever the case. But yeah, I should be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday on these, doing these short little videos or whatever. So appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe. If you know anybody else that might be interested, share. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.